Hello, and welcome back to the Mildly Uncomfortable podcast. This is a podcast in which two friends sit down to explore different controversial subjects each episode. I am your host, Brandon Zoyce, and alongside me is my co host, Justin Coleman.
What's up, guys?
Today, we will be talking about internet culture, and there's a shit ton of stuff to talk about for internet culture. So, we're only going to do a few specific things. So,
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to cover quite a few things. I feel like when you think about internet culture, the first thing that pops into your mind is social media. You kind of think Instagram, you think Twitter, maybe YouTube, if you want to count that as social media.
And I definitely count that as social media.
Yeah, I guess it does. It definitely counts. I always thought it was I was gonna say media viewing thing like Netflix, but that's a streaming service, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
How those websites run, who runs them, and kind of who has the audience on those platforms. So influencers, right? There's influencers on YouTube, there's influencers on Instagram, on Twitter. I think it really made its start on YouTube and Instagram mostly. And obviously there are people who are just popular on Twitter, like all platforms. You have to start somewhere.
Twitch too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't forget about Twitch.
Twitch is
streaming,
a huge one.
Literally game streaming.
Yeah.
I always thought it was interesting when it came to influencers because they're literally like new age celebrities now.
Yeah.
Like traditionally, most celebrities, you think actors or maybe some comedians, but like it's usually mainly actors from TV or music industries or like music industry people, I guess, artists, famous artists. And you can kind of see a shift, especially with like the youth now, where if I asked somebody if they knew who, I don't know, Lil Wayne was versus James Charles,
right.
I feel like the average, 13-year-old would be like, oh, I know who James Charles is.
100%.
Yeah, so you really just see like the generational shift when it comes to how internet has changed that perspective, I guess.
Yeah, how it's made different people look at the higher ups per se as actually celebrities in the world. Because I just feel like with Twitter and YouTube and everything, all the social media, everybody has more exposure, you know?
Yeah.
So it's more so like kids don't really watch TV as much anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I would say, or TV like in sitcom wise, you know, like growing up, we would watch shit like that, like Friends or whatever. But I don't know. There's kids now that are just all over the internet, you know.
Yeah.
So they see way more internet famous people, influencers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just always thought it was cool that anybody could be an influencer if you worked hard enough.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's 30% work, 70% luck when it comes to getting big on the internet.
That goes for everything though, not just the internet, you know. Because you could, I mean, I was going to compare it to basketball, but basketball is more hard work, I would say. Mm-hmm. It's still luck to get picked up by somebody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with putting in your work, you still have to play fucking basketball and be good at it for somebody to recognize you. So, it's a little so-so for that.
Yeah, I can see that. But, yeah, it is interesting how, an everyday person can kind of just become literally an overnight celebrity. Like, you could just become a fucking meme.
Right.
Danielle fucking Bregoli literally was a meme off a TV show and just got famous overnight.
And now she's doing big fucking things.
Yeah, she built her whole career.
Yeah, her whole fucking brand was built off of Catch Me Outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, that's the Danielle Bregoli is the Catch Me Outside girl.
For anybody that didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just crazy to me how you can just turn, and that's also a bad thing, just making dumb people famous. Not saying she's dumb, but how she got famous was fucking stupid.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. I don't want to get into her as much.
Yeah, we don't have to get into her, but I mean,
that's a whole nother can of worms there.
Just in general, there's internet likes to make dumb people famous, like fucking Whoa Vicky. It's just a trend thing now.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it is exactly. I guess it's just fun to watch people do dumb shit.
Yeah.
I think people just like to jump on hate trains, and it's just sort of like jump on a train where you're just laughing at one person, not laughing with them.
Well, that's always been like a thing for even the internet when it was first starting, like because YouTube was basically right at the beginning of the internet as well. People always would laugh at people getting hurt or something. A video would always do better if somebody was getting hurt, you know. So that's something stupid because they're getting hurt and doing something dumb. So like people would just laugh at that, and now it's actually people saying things and doing things even more to become these quote influencers, and then now they say even more dumb things, you know.
Yeah.
So everybody just loves to hop on that and make fun of them and you know what have you. Or if they're very good influencers, you know, everybody hops on it because they deserve it, you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of YouTubers that deserve the fame they have. Like there's just a lot of hardworking YouTubers. I mean, you think of like Felix for one of them. Like I don't know, is he still number one subscribed?
I think T Series finally passed him,
That's
but
funny.
other than that, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Like you think Felix and you think of like somebody who literally he pushed out multiple videos every day, which is impressive on its own. To the fact where he literally became the number one most subscribed channel on YouTube. That's very impressive. Just to gain that much audience, especially with like, I was gonna say it's like a niche thing because he was playing like Happy Wheels and shit at the time. But I mean,
well, even then, gaming was very niche.
yeah,
Like there was still a huge platform for it, as in YouTube. There wasn't shit like Twitch when PewDiePie was first starting off. There was nothing like straight up video game based.
yeah.
But so like yeah, it was gaming was very very small compared to what else was on YouTube for the time of his upbringing, I would say.
Yeah, I think like he is definitely part of the reason why gaming took off so much.
Oh yeah,
especially like you just being the number one most subscribed channel. You're bringing so much attention to that genre.
Yeah.
Of media, like, yeah, I think it definitely took off after that. Oh, that was the other thing. Like, when I think of Felix, I think of like the controversy he got into. Do you remember what it was?
Which one? There's a like 4.
The big one that got him in trouble, like
the bridge.
No, not the bridge one. It was like I think it was like Fiverr or whatever.
Oh, Fiverr.
Fiverr, yeah. Like when he paid somebody to like say I hate Jews or something.
No,
write it on the board, and then like YouTube like crucified him. They canceled his show on like YouTube Red. He got like so much shit on it.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah,
I didn't even know he did that.
This was a thing that happened. It was like it was as a joke. I promise you.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's why he got his YouTube Red show canceled.
I didn't even know that he did that. I didn't know that was the reasoning.
I'm pretty sure that was the reasoning. I mean, but you said he's been in like 4 other ones or 3 other ones or whatever.
They weren't as bad though. That one seems very bad. Like, you know about the bridge one?
What happened with the bridge one?
I forget what game it was. It was H1 or it was PUBG, one of them. And then a guy was shooting at him, and then he hid behind a car or whatever. And he was like, "What is this guy fucking?" And then he said the N word, like straight up.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What year was this?
17.
2017. He was doing that.
Yeah. It was like 17, 18, or like ending of 16, right around there. And then the other one was, this one wasn't his fault. He didn't do anything for this one. The whole T Series and PewDiePie thing where they were battling, he ended that. He didn't want that to go on anymore, and it was because there was a shooting or a bombing or something.
Oh, I heard about it, and they said like this is for PewDiePie.
They literally like were promoting him. They were like, "This is for PewDiePie sub to." Oh, and it was in India or something like that where T Series is, located. And they were like, "Yeah, sub to PewDiePie. This is for PewDiePie." Blah blah blah. And then he had to literally come out with a statement. It was like, "All right, that had nothing to do with me. I didn't fucking organize that, you know."
And
it's just terrible because he's such like a. Because at this point, PewDiePie is I would call PewDiePie a celebrity over an influencer, just because he's like a household name at this point.
I do think he's a household name, but when you think of like a celebrity, I think of traditional celebrities like musicians and
Yeah.
actors. It seems like whenever I see like any kind of online celebrity go into, or like influencer go into like the traditional media space, they're never taken seriously.
Really?
Yeah, like in interviews and shit. Like I'm trying to think. There was an incident with like James Charles where he went over to like the UK for like a meet and greet thing. I think the news, there were like podcasts and shit on him, or like a radio show podcast thing, and they're just like, I don't even know who this person is, and he's like coming over and causing all this traffic in my city. Like I've never even heard of him, and it was just like, well, you've never heard of him, but like fucking millions of other people have. It just seems like traditional media doesn't really count them as real celebrities.
Well, see, that's the thing. I watch a YouTube channel, and they're called the Valley Folk,
Mm-hmm.
and they're fucking hilarious people. Like they do improv, they do sketches. Like they're fucking hilarious. And so one of the guys, his name's Joe. They were talking about the word influencer, and he fucking hates being an influencer. Like he loves the way he's able to get his brand out and like help people more,
Mm-hmm.
and bring laughs because they're a comedy like show, whatever. And he fucking hates the word influencer because it's the way that mainstream celebrities and businesses can't give them the right to do bigger things as a quote unquote celebrity.
Yeah,
that
because
was
they
his
don't
whole
count them
reasoning.
as a celebrity.
Yeah, because they don't count them as a celebrity, so they can't do bigger things, and they're always stuck in the rut of being an influencer.
Yeah,
And I think that's a very good point. I think it's a huge thing for influencers that actually deserve to be bigger, and they deserve to go on to bigger things besides just fucking YouTube or Twitch.
mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge ideal that needs to be shut down. That they're just an influencer and they can't go to more things.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like a rare thing. It does happen where you see like influencer or online celebrities cross over to traditional media. Like, I remember Toby Turner before he had all his shit. He had the annoying orange thing. You know what I'm talking about?
That wasn't his though. He was
on the show.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like he was able to cross over to like a major network.
And who I don't even to this day know who made Annoying Orange.
I don't. Well, that show actually started on YouTube.
No, that's what I mean. Like I don't know who started it on YouTube.
Oh.
Whoever that was, I think he or she, whoever had their own YouTube, and then they like made Annoying Orange, and then they fucking boosted that bitch.
Yeah, they pitched it to Nick, and then they took the show.
But that was before that was really the word influencer.
Yeah, that was before they were influencers. Then they were just like YouTubers or Instagrammers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool that they were kind of like trying to bridge this gap of traditional and new media. And it was like, I used to watch somebody, her name was Grace Helbig. She had got her own show on E! I don't remember what the show was called, but it was just like a talk show, and I was like, that's really cool that you guys are just starting to kind of accept, I guess, the online world, like into traditional media.
I believe so. Don't completely quote me, but she's dating one of the Valley Folk now.
Oh, that's cool.
I think she's dating Elliot, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know she's dating somebody. She used to date Chester C. I remember that, and then they stopped.
I don't know who that is.
He's another YouTuber. He was like a singer.
But yeah, another person who traversed the influencer title, 100% is Jake Paul. No matter what he's done, he is not he technically is an influencer, but he is a celebrity now.
Yeah, I was going to bring him up next because of the Disney thing.
Yes. He went from fucking vining with his brother Logan. He went from doing vines to being a YouTube star to then being on Disney for how many? It was like a fucking while. He was on there for like a year and a half, and then he left, and now he's back on YouTube doing whatever. Because I don't keep up with him, but like he really fucking traversed that. He did. I mean, I don't want to say good because he's
I mean, he didn't leave Disney,
right.
you know.
Yeah. The thing is, though, he did leave YouTube, which he traversed the influencer title. You know.
Yeah.
Same with David Dobrik. David Dobrik is a YouTuber influencer, but at this point, I have the same argument like as of PewDiePie. They are household names, and I would consider them celebrities at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can consider anybody with a large enough following a celebrity.
Right.
Because they're famous, they're well known.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I don't know if those words are synonymous, famous and celebrity. Well, I guess not, because I feel like you would look at somebody like Ted Bundy, who was famous. I don't know if you would call him celebrity.
That's a very good fucking point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way. That's a very fucking good point.
Yeah. So I don't know, what classifies a celebrity.
I don't know either, to be honest, because because it's so weird. Because influencer, as we said, is just something that they gave YouTubers, a title to give YouTubers so they don't pass over into the celebrity realm. But it's like, how do you define a celebrity then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. My gut just says, oh, it's just like a large enough following, but I think it has to be more than that.
There definitely has to be more than that.
Yeah.
Anybody could have a large following.
Yeah.
There's people on Twitter that have 100K like followers, and they're not doing shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing anything. They're not famous. They're not celebrities by any means, but they just have a shit ton of following. So I don't know. I don't know how to define it.
Yeah, me neither. I also like how it's backwards now, where it used to be YouTubers trying to cross to traditional media. Now traditional media wants to cross over to the new space, to the new media space.
100%.
Like the brands, they reach out to influencers. They're celebrities in everybody's video now because they know that most of like the audience, or most of, I guess, the consumers they're trying to get, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter. These are the spaces you have to get to, and that's just crazy to me, just to see the crossover from traditional media just being like kind of being at the top of this hierarchy, and it's just shifting now.
Yeah. Fucking YouTube, #1 trending at almost all times is fucking The Late Show with Jimmy fucking Fallon. Like almost 100%. All they do is just post clips on it. And that's all you need to fucking do nowadays. It's crazy. Like I just don't get it. They want to be on YouTube so bad. Like they know that this is the next generation of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like like you said, they want to cross over so bad, and they know that the social media game compared to television and everything is up and coming.
Yeah.
And it's still, I don't know, because I don't think it's surpassed it yet, but it seems like it's fucking like 2 inches away, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. When I think of when I think of it, it's like, I guess we can bring up James Charles again, because he's done videos with like multiple fucking celebrities. He's had like Iggy Azalea, he's had Kylie and fucking Kim Kardashian on his channel. He had a few others, and those are like kind of the biggest names. And you would think, like, oh, why would they go on his channel? But like, what I guess demographic are they marketing to? They're trying to sell their fucking makeup, so you probably want to go to one of the biggest makeup influencers,
right?
Instead of just broadcasting on TV. Like you said earlier, I don't think a lot of people watch very much TV.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is digital now. Everything's on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet.
Mainly people our age too.
Yeah,
I would say from millennials and down.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say like 90% of them do not watch broadcast TV.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, because it's like a commitment. Like you have to sit down at this time if you want to watch it. When it's just like, bro, I can just wait till it comes on Hulu tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's too easy. Just being able to stream. You can literally stream virtually anything from your phone. There's no real reason to kind of just go sit down and watch TV.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't want to. Now you just don't have to.
Yeah, that's a whole different subject too. With like phones and everything, just being right in the palm of your hand, being
Yeah.
able to feed you anything.
Oh, just like mass information.
Yeah, dude, that's a like I said earlier, that's a whole nother can of worms.
hmm So you can kind of tie it back to like the influencer thing. Like I said, like it's kind of how people get canceled now. It's like they make a mistake, one person tweets about it, somebody else sees that tweets about it, and it just spreads like fucking wildfire because everybody can see everything
Yeah,
online.
yeah, that's a huge one.
Yeah,
You want to get into that now?
yeah, we could talk about
Okay.
it.
So, define cancel as in the internet cancel.
Okay, so when you cancel someone, it means like you stop supporting them. You don't want anything to do with them, basically. Like how a show gets canceled and it just stops. It's like trying to stop that person, I guess. Like, no, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it other than that.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just don't want to support the person anymore after a specific thing said or done.
hmm
Um, and that, yeah, like you said with TV shows, like how people want to cancel TV shows or how they get canceled. It's basically, it goes back to that. So it's actually weird that it ties in with television when a
Yeah.
lot of canceling comes from internet. It just, it ties back over where they mix together.
hmm Well, that happened with the podcast I listened to.
Mm-hmm.
They were it's like two female comedians, but they were offered a show on Lifetime, and they almost took it, like it was just like everything was good, but in the clause of their contract it said if at any point you say anything offensive or anything has been offensive that comes out later, we will we have every right to cancel the show, and you will not get paid.
Holy shit! Not get paid for any of it.
Not get paid for any of it.
Holy
And so that's that's like a common clause in contracts now.
Yeah.
Just be like, so literally you could have said something 10 years ago and you have a show. If somebody digs it up and it spreads on Twitter and it spreads to YouTube and it just spreads online, you can just get all your shit taken away like that.
That's what happened to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's was a little bit different, obviously, because he was more offensive and like serious about it. It wasn't a joke, in my opinion.
I don't think it was a joke.
But it was, what was it? Do you remember? It was the Emmys or the Oscars or something that he was about to host.
Yeah, I think it was the Oscars. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was one of those award shows.
Yeah,
They reached out to him to be the host. He had gotten to a controversy where somebody dug something up. He said
I think
it was like a homophobic tweet.
2007 or 8 too.
Yeah,
so over 10 years.
10 years, and basically they wanted him to apologize for it, and then he's like, "I already apologized for this. I'm not apologizing for it. If it bothers you that much, he still stepped down." So he stepped down from whatever award show it was that he was supposed to be doing. And it was just, you just saw the internet crucify him. And honestly, with that situation, he could have just helped himself. Like, I feel like people gotta pick and choose when it comes to like, is this the hill you want to die on? Like, is this what you're gonna fight for, like for your career?
But I don't know. That's a different situation, in my opinion. Like with Kevin Hart, it was more so pride.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, is this the hill you want to die on? Like,
but I don't know because I don't remember the specific tweet that it was. But didn't he say he already said sorry a long time ago?
He said he had already said sorry. From my understanding, he didn't. Like,
oh,
and people were just like, "Well, you said this thing. Regardless of how long you said it, you put it on the internet. It's there forever. You should apologize for it." And he wouldn't. Like, he didn't want to, and that pissed people off.
But let's give him the benefit of the doubt and imagine that he had already said sorry.
Yeah.
What would be the difference now? Like, why would that be such a big deal? I mean, yeah, now because of if it was homophobic. So yes, obviously now it's even worse to say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had already said sorry in previous years, I feel like it shouldn't have been that bad for him. If he had already said sorry and he was meaningful about it and he wasn't just fucking joking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he shouldn't have been fucking put through the ringer if he had already said sorry.
Yeah. For me, it's like if I said something shitty and I knew for a fact it was shitty and it bothered somebody, I would apologize for it. And if they brought it back up, I wouldn't mind apologizing for it again.
But that's also different because me and you don't think the same. Because these are fucking celebrities / influencers.
Yeah.
So that's different. Like, because I would do the same thing, but it's just the fact that they have a bigger audience and maybe. I mean, I don't even like Kevin Hart. I don't even think he's that funny. But I'm just, saying if that was the case, maybe he wanted to prove a point for his fans.
Mm-hmm. I can see like wanting to prove a point, but it's like I feel like there's a time and a place where it's like, is this really what you want to do? Like, you don't want to apologize for being homophobic, even though, like, okay, let's say you had apologized before. Maybe people hadn't seen it. Like, just saying I apologized before isn't really. Why not just say sorry again? Like, what's the point in saying, oh, I already apologized? Just apologize again. Does it matter? Like, is it going to fucking kill you?
That's true. That's very true. But like I said, it's also different for celebrities in a certain way. Like you still shouldn't be shitty, but I don't know. I feel like there is a middle ground there where maybe he shouldn't have completely said, "Oh, I really do apologize for this," even though I already have. But then he shouldn't have done what he did and just say nothing and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna step down." There should have been a middle ground between it, I believe.
Yeah, I think maybe he should. Like, I don't think he had to step down. I think he was just being really prideful.
Yeah.
And then that was just kind of the road, or I guess the path he took, which is up to him.
Let me ask you this question, and this will go back to a lot of the big controversial, cancels that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would have happened if it wouldn't have been homophobic? Like, what other types of things have you seen for canceling that's not really homophobic and racist? What else is there? Completely. Because I've never seen one that's very mainstream that's not one of those.
The biggest one is sexual assault and being creepy.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. Besides those. Because that one's the hugest one, obviously. Because I've never seen one besides those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you would really cancel a person for.
That's what I mean. So, like at this, and it goes back to when Kevin Hart made those tweets, even if it was a joke, since he's a comedian, that was okay at the time. Because like I said, 2007, 2008, there wasn't a lot of people who gave a fuck about gay people, which is terrible to say, but it's true,
Yeah, it's true.
So it's like, I don't know. Again, obviously it's not, it wouldn't be okay whatsoever in today's standards, and nobody would support that. But because it was brought back up, I think that's fucking disgusting that somebody would do that to him.
Yeah.
Because as of now, even if he is homophobic, nothing, and I don't, like I said, I don't like Kevin Hart. I don't think he's funny, blah, blah, blah. But but I have watched his shows because I like comedians. I like comedy in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I've watched shows and even recent shows, and he's not whatsoever. He doesn't do shit like that, like say jokes about gay people or anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be fine to bring that back up if he was saying some shit like that now. But that was 10 plus years ago, and I feel like that's not right.
I don't know. I kind of disagree in the fact that he said it, and that he does something professionally. Like, he's a comedian, so people come to see him. People come to support him, and I feel like you don't really want to support somebody who doesn't support you. So I think it's okay in the fact, like, hey, you said this before. Do you still believe this? Is this still like something you agree with? Do you still stand by this? I think that's important because it's like especially with that situation, he literally tweeted that. Like, those are thoughts out of his head. So I think it's not insane to believe that somebody went, I wonder if he still thinks like this.
No, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, I would be crushed to find out somebody, like, I support doesn't support me. Or, like, just doesn't, I guess, agree with my lifestyle, if you want to call it that. That's for another episode. That's my opinion. Like, this kind of goes back to I don't know if you know about, I think I told you about the Jeffree Star stuff.
Wait, hold on. Before we get into that, I brought up the tweets just to read them.
Okay.
So there's 3 of them that are like the huge ones that, resurfaced. And this was January of 2011. Yo, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, stop, that's gay. This one was March 2009. Okay, I'm just now waking up and I'm in a good mood, so I think I'm going to go to the gym and get big. No homo. August 2009. Laughed my ass off at all of the women asking me where the pic is. I'm not passing along a picture of a naked man that would make me gay by association. I don't know. Those are fucking weird.
The first one was terrible.
Yes.
The other 2 were
The other 2 were
They didn't
weird.
bother
Like,
me.
because obviously you are gay.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you feel about the no homo thing? Because that one just doesn't even fucking make sense to me. Even, like, he literally said, I'm going to go to the gym and get big, no homo. What the fuck? Why would you, what? How does that make you gay if you say get big?
I guess maybe that's like an erection thing. Like a joke.
But that still doesn't make you gay. All guys get erections. Like, what?
At the gym. I think maybe he was making like a changing room joke or something. I don't know.
That's
how I took it. Yeah, I don't understand that one. But like the whole no homo thing,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's like a homophobic thing because it's implying that gay is bad. Which, I mean, that goes with anything, like using the term faggot or just saying, oh, that's gay.
Yeah.
That's just something we shouldn't be doing. Like, it'd be weird if I was walking around, it'd be weird if I was just walking around saying, oh, I like, Shelby, you look really pretty today, no hetero. Like, that sounds weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't be a thing I need to say.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, this is a whole different episode, too, that now we're kind of dwelling into.
Yeah.
But we'll just bring it up very briefly because we're a little bit on it. It's not, if you are very much straight, you don't have to announce it.
Yeah, that's weird. It's always been weird to me. It's like, okay, you don't have to tell me you're not gay every 3 seconds. Like, why's that a thing?
I don't know. It's a weird fucking thing. I think it's so fucking weird, and I don't know. It's like it's the whole thing with vegans as well. Like, that's a meme now, but it's like vegans always got to tell you they're a vegan. I've met numerous vegans, and they're not like that. It's just like I don't know, because I don't want to get into other topics, but it's kind of like feminism in a way of the social media way to promote them and to make them look way worse than they actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I feel like that's the way with feminism or feminists, the way with veganism and vegans, and even, I mean, it's way better now. I mean, it's still got its fucking really bad times, but it's way better now with gay people, you know. But it's still like, or sorry, not with gay people, but with straight people or homophobes. It's like, why do you? There's a lot of people who like trash these titles names, you know. And I feel homophobes are terrible, obviously, but I mean just in the way of if I just feel like if you're not hurting anybody, just you're fine. Like, if you don't like gay people, that's okay. You know, in my opinion.
In my opinion, yeah, I believe in freedom of speech and that you can say whatever you want.
Right. But if you're going out and you're literally trying to hurt fucking gay people, like, you are a fucking evil person. You know what I mean? But if you're just like, yeah, I don't like gay people, I don't agree with what they're doing, leave it. You know, leave it there. You're good. Say it. You can say that, you know? And I don't know, because I feel like with that situation, if somebody were to tweet that now, they would get fucking dragged.
Yeah.
dragged through the mud. And I feel like that's not right. Just because you're saying something that disagrees with the majority of opinion, you should not be dragged.
I agree. Depending on what, yeah, I don't agree with it when it's just like a difference in opinion. I think it's good. Like, I think shaming is good. Like, shaming can be bad and it can be a useful tool. Like, it's like when you're raising a child and they do something bad, it's like a shame on you, don't do this type of thing. And the internet basically does that on a mass scale. I think it's appropriate sometimes and not appropriate other times.
Yes.
And I don't think it's ever okay to cancel a person forever unless they did something like terrible, like sexual assault or something like that. Then it's like, okay, maybe we just don't support him ever again.
Yes.
This person's a fucking creep. We need to stop that now.
I mean, holy shit. If I would have, like, obviously, with our age, everybody screws up as a kid and says whatever as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, man, if I would have been big as a child, like a influencer as a child, I would be fucked.
Yeah.
I'd said some serious shit that was very fucking bad. And it was true. Like, I believed in it at the time. Some bad shit. So it's like, I don't know. I always, like you said, I believe everybody gets a second chance, besides the very terrible things. But I think everybody should get, and everybody does deserve a second chance, no matter what the case is. Besides the terrible fucking shit.
Yeah. I don't think you can really come back with, like, sexual assault or murder. If it's like the Kevin Hart thing, okay, you were homophobic in 2008. A lot of people who were homophobic in 2008,
Yes.
and they're not now. That's just how it is now.
Yes.
Apologize for it. We'll move past it. It's kind of like the thing with Jeffree Star. Like, he had a thing that was like, there was a video of him calling somebody a nigger and screaming it at him. And yeah, and people did not fuck with him. Like, he got fucking dragged because of it. And there was also like there was a video along with that where it was a joke he was making with somebody where he was saying he wanted to throw battery acid at somebody so it could lighten their skin.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, like, this is why people did not fuck with him.
What the fuck?
And then
what the fuck?
Yes, and he got fucking dragged on the internet. People were like, these videos came up, they're like, you're a fucking racist, we don't fuck with you.
Wait, how
you
long
don't
ago
support
was that?
Black people. This was like, when this was happening, this was like 3 years ago-ish.
That's still a bad time. That's
Yeah.
a huge time. That's when everybody was starting really in media to accept gay people more and black people. Like, because obviously that was a fucking huge thing where people didn't like black people, you know?
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible.
This was like 2016, 2017 when this all like started happening for him.
Oh my, what?
Yeah, he came out with like a makeup line, and obviously you need people to buy your shit, and that was like a big thing. Like, it came up, like, that's when the things usually come up when you're trying to do something, when you're trying to like either start a business or you're supporting something, or you're trying to what's the word, advertise for something you're involved in.
Yeah.
People want to support you, they want to know you support them. They find a video like that, it's not happening.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, so he went on, like, he apologized on Twitter. He made like a whole YouTube video about it, which, I mean, is what you should do. But
They're
I mean,
so saturated at this point.
Yeah,
like,
the apology videos are
yes.
so fucking saturated. But yeah, it's just like, at least he didn't take the prideful approach, which is just, oh, I already apologized for it. Which he said, like, after the video came out, back then he apologized for it. Because it was never okay to call anybody a nigger. Like, at any point in time, that's never been cool. Within, like, the last 20 years, that has not been okay.
Right.
20, 30 years. But, so he said he apologized then, but he's like, and then he apologized again, and then he made an apology video, which is like, I have to commend him for at least trying, because a lot of people don't even do that.
That's true.
But I personally do not support him because his actions have shown me he's not a good person. I don't necessarily think he's a complete racist. There was like a thing that came out where he called another black influencer a gorilla through text.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't.
What is wrong with this person?
They say the text might be fake. I doubt it. Like I don't really.
Well, I mean, that's true. It could be fake.
It could be fake, but it came from somebody.
Because like Photoshop is so fucking easy for texting and like text bubbles, you know. But, yeah.
So it could be fake. It could not be, but like this was like part of why I stopped messing with him even after he apologized. There was a black influencer, a black beauty influencer. So this is like all makeup YouTubers, like beauty gurus. She made a video and it was like makeup I won't be buying in 2016 or whatever, and his shit was on the list. She was like, and she's black, and she's like, I don't support anybody who doesn't support us, so I won't be supporting the brand. I think it's great makeup though, and I think outside of that, he seems like a good person, but I personally can't support his brand. He got on Twitter and he called her like an irrelevant rat, and like he went the fuck off on her. And this is like the second time he had called a black influencer a rat. So then people were looking at him sideways. Before this, like a year prior, he had gotten to like an altercation with another black influencer. Her name was like Makeup by Shayla. And he got on Snapchat and said that he was like, oh, don't play with me or I will literally beat your fucking ass. But it's like, you're a grown ass man. You can't be saying shit like that. Like
that's another situation too. Like with because I see this online a lot. Gay guys trying to fight girls.
Yeah, that's never okay. Unless somebody puts their hands on you first, you should just not be fighting. Like I don't. That's fucking disgusting to me.
No matter who it is, too. Like I don't think you should just start a fight with somebody unless it's for good reason. But again, that's a whole different fucking shit.
I agree. I think that's really fucked up. But it was just the thing that he had done the same thing. He got on Snapchat and he talked shit and he called her a rat. And people were like, it's funny that you only use this term when you're arguing with black influencers. So it was like another thing that came up. And so there's always been like this underlying thing where like, is Jeffree Star racist? He's the only person that knows. Like there have been people who's literally said like, oh no, I went to his house and he literally said nigger on me. I was like, well, and those are other influencers. So with shit like that, it's always like hearsay, and it's like you never know like who an influencer is or who a celebrity is unless you know them. Like I don't know if he's a fucking racist or not.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, but that was like a whole thing where there's still a lot of black people who don't fuck with him, and I don't blame them. I don't really fuck with him. Like I can't. Like I just saw too much shit.
Yeah. Well, another person who was like, I don't know if technically he was canceled, but he's so beloved by everybody that I feel like it just was brushed off in the next month.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Dawson.
Blackface?
Oh, well, that one too. But that wasn't as mainstream, in my opinion, right? That wasn't as like...
That was pretty bad for him. But what are you talking about?
He did a bunch of shit when it was like 2006 and 8. When I used to watch him as like he would do the different characters and everything. Mm-hmm. That he did a bunch of shit that was terrible.
Yeah, he did a lot of terrible things.
Yeah, but I'm meaning the more recent one.
The cat thing.
The cat. Fucking his cat.
Mm-hmm.
That one, I feel like I don't even know how did that start. Do you remember?
He used to have a podcast. I've listened to every episode of this podcast when it was coming out.
Oh shit!
Because I love podcasts. I already told you, like I've been listening to them bitches for years.
Yeah.
But it was called Shane and Friends. I think this is the first co-host he had, which was his manager at the time, and they were together. And he made a joke where it's like you knew he wasn't serious, like you know what I mean. It's Shane Dawson. It was all about dark humor, and he would just say shocking shit to get laughs.
He still does that.
Yeah, he still does it.
He kept up with it, but
he doesn't do it as much now because people actually thought he fucked his cat.
Wait, so what did he say?
He went, I think he literally told a story of how he fucked his cat as a child, and it was like he was trying to like be edgy, but like if you go into a whole story, people are gonna think it's true. Like outside of your fans who don't listen to it. And
I'm
so
not-
they got that clip, and it went fucking wild on Twitter.
And on that same subject too, with canceling and like what you've said before, there's this guy. There's another channel that I watch on YouTube. I think I've told you about this before. This was a year or so ago. There's a guy named Bart on a YouTube channel that I watch. It's called JK News, and they all just sit around a table and they talk about whatever, whenever. And so they always go into different stories about what they've done or whatever. And so they're all comedians too. Like they're not mainstream comedians, but they started on YouTube and they're fucking funny. Like they're comedians in that sort. And so he was telling a story about when he went to boot camp or something along the lines of boot camp, or like he was just hanging out, and him and his friends didn't like this other guy, so they went and they just beat his ass. And then at one point, one guy hands him a stick or like a broom, and he shoved it in his ass and raped him technically. And so that was like a joke. As a fan, I knew that was a fucking joke. You can tell when you're having or making up a story and when they're being serious about their fucking stories.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's not a tasteful joke, but it was still a joke. And then so that got resurfaced. That was in like 2014 or 15. And then it got resurfaced, and then he had to come out with a statement and be like, no, it never happened. We just tell stories on that show, and we're not serious most of the time. Like, I was not serious. I am sorry. Like, and he came out with the whole fucking apology. And it was like, I don't think it was that needed, but I don't know. Obviously, rape's fucking terrible, and like, if it was serious, that's fucked. But you could tell he wasn't serious. Maybe somebody looking from the outside who doesn't know about him or the channel, but if you know about the channel, because it was people that like me that have watched the channel for a few years and they know like they just fuck around. So it was like, I don't think it was needed to say sorry for that.
Yeah. I think it was needed just to be like, oh, that was a joke.
But you could tell.
I feel like when it comes to the internet, people like to take things out of context. So if you take that and you isolate that clip, I'm sure it just sounds like he's telling a story of something terrible he did.
Yeah.
So that's how people are going to look at it and perceive it. Like, this is somebody who literally sexually assaulted somebody, is what's going through their head. So they're just like, oh yeah, that's a fucked up person. Why are people supporting him?
Yeah, that's true. He also has a child, and he's like in his mid-30s too, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess people are just like, what kind of father are you if you do this when you're young or whatever?
Right.
Yeah. So I can see it from that perspective, because I'm sure the clip was taken out of context. And like you said, it's like not a very tasteful joke unless you know the channel and you know that they're joking. I even know
the channel, but it's not a tasteful joke. Like, it wasn't that funny. Like, the story itself was funny of him going and beating this guy's ass because of what he said after the fact, like what happened. But like, he didn't even need to add in, I stuck a broomstick in his ass. Like that, the only thing that added there was a shock element, and most of the time those aren't funny. Like, I don't know. That again, that's a whole nother can of worms with comedy. I could go on for comedy for a while, but I just don't want to get into that. But shock value for comedy, 9 times out of 10, does not work or should not work, because it's more so just distasteful things that you're saying to try to get a laugh or a, oh my gosh, they actually said that, and it's like, it's not needed whatsoever in comedy. So I'll just leave that there. But yeah, so a lot of things with canceling go back to what people have said in the past, and obviously like the Jeffree Star, that's fucked. That was fucked up. I don't know if you've ever told me that. I didn't know about that, or maybe I just didn't remember it, but that's fucked. That was the first time of me hearing or remembering. That's fucked. That's straight up fucked.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
You want to get into the huge one?
The James Charles issue.
James Charles.
It's a long, complicated thing, so I will shorten it up to the best of my ability. Basically, there was a female beauty guru / influencer. Her name's Tati. She made a video saying like, oh, this person doesn't support me or my brand. They've been a bad friend to me, and they're really creepy when it comes to straight guys. I guess I should specify.
Yeah.
The person that it was James. She's talking about James. She basically said that James Charles tries to make straight men gay, or tries to, I guess, manipulate them into liking him, or I guess trying to be sexual with him, try to be sexual with him. The internet took that and fucking ran with it.
Ran with it.
And
this video that Tati posted was like, what, 20, 40 minutes?
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes.
Most people didn't watch the whole fucking thing. I bet if you look at her watch time, it's like 10 fucking minutes. You know? I bet they didn't watch the whole damn thing. Because the majority of it is, or there's like 5 minutes of her saying that about James, and then the whole fucking 35 extra minutes is literally like, yeah, buy my fucking vitamins. You know what I mean?
It was literally like 5 minutes focusing on that, and then another like 30 minutes being like, he wasn't a good friend, he didn't support my brand and shit like that.
And it's, yeah.
And they took that one clip. I mean, here's the thing with influencer, it's in your title that you influence people. Right. So if you come at me with some bullshit and say, oh, I didn't know saying this would do this, but I didn't know saying this would turn all these people against him. It's like, bullshit. Yes, the fuck you did. Yeah. You're an influencer. You influence people. You just said this person is doing something bad. What the fuck do you think your audience is gonna do after that? Right. They're gonna go to that person's fucking pages, their fucking socials, and they're gonna blow them up
and unfollow them, blow them up, make them feel like complete shit. And
so that's always bullshit when I hear that. And every influencer always says that. I didn't know that would happen. I didn't know by saying this. Like, yes, it's in your job title.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, she said she didn't mean for that to happen. I call bullshit.
So yeah, James Charles officially after that is the #1 most unsubscribed channel on YouTube in one day.
Yep.
Because of him being a quote unquote predator and trying to turn straight men gay, quote unquote, you know.
And this is just like, keep in mind, this is all coming from Tati, who's like this middle-aged straight woman who knows probably nothing about gay people in general. It just says something like that. And when you say stuff like that, you kind of have to come with some proof. Because if you just say something like that to an audience, it's like, what the fuck is this? They're just going to believe you. Like, that you didn't come with... It'd be one thing if you had proof on, like, what you're saying. Then it would make sense for them to go after them. But they literally just, like... This is, like, why it happened. They just fucking ran with it. People saw it on Twitter and just spread it. He had to come out with a video with fucking proof and be like, everything I did was consensual. I didn't force anybody to do anything. I didn't manipulate anybody to doing anything. Yeah. This is all the incidents that people were talking about. This is what happened with them.
Came out with everything, proved everything wrong.
Literally. And then there's still people who call him a predator.
It's crazy.
And that's never going to go away from him. There's always going to be somebody who thinks he's a predator, who thinks he's a creep.
That's sad too.
And that's due to one person saying something.
Right. And he proved it all fucking wrong. And it's mainly because I would say, I don't know, it's hard to put a pin on it, but it's like a lot of people, well, just in general, a lot of people don't want to see somebody succeed. And so when you get to this like height and this tall mountain that James Charles was on, or technically still is, he's still #1, isn't he?
No, he was #1. He was #1 at the time, and then it changed to Jeffree Star, who's #1 now. I'm pretty sure. Who I will add did not help. He actually added fuel to the fire the entire time, which is fucking terrible.
When it's none of his fucking business.
It had nothing to do with them. Even anybody who saw the video saw the text that he sent James. He was just like, I'm about to have all these people go on camera and tell them how you sexually assaulted them. Comes out with the video the next day, says, I'm going to be the bigger person, and I don't like the person I'm becoming, so I'm going to stop this. I wish nothing but the best for James. It's like, you're a fucking toxic person for doing that. Like, you can't say shit like that and do shit like that. You're an influencer. You just influenced more people to shit on this person.
Right.
with no proof, and like stuff like that makes me angry. It's like, why are you directing hate towards somebody?
Because they can't, and that was what I was trying to say. When you're at the top of the mountain of whatever genre, there's always somebody who's praying for you to fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always like, oh, if this person surpasses me, I have to try to do better and bring them down a peg so I go above them. So it's somebody like Jeffree Star. He wanted that number fucking one spot. So he was like, I'm going to do this so people shit on this guy more and then bring him down so I can be number one.
Yeah.
And he did. And he fucking succeeded. And that is the worst fucking thing to do in life. Like if you support somebody like that, I'm sorry, but like you're just fucking fueling the flames, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, like everybody has the freedom to do whatever they want, and I don't judge people if they do support him. Like that's your own thing. Maybe you just like this makeup. A lot of people can separate the person from the product.
That's a huge thing too. That's how I feel about, because I listen to rap a lot. That's how I feel about rappers. If you're able to separate the music from the person, you'll be good. Because there's some people who make great like music, and then them as a person, they're just shitty. So it's like I would rather, if I still like the music, I'm listening to the music. You know, you should definitely separate it. And this is the same case with makeup. If you like the makeup, go for it. But if you don't like the person, just do not be a part of what they're trying to do. Just buy their makeup, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Like you're still kind of fueling it, but it's the fact of like you're still feeling better about yourself. I would say, you know.
That's actually like a whole like separate thing, because the thing with R. Kelly, what happened with him.
Ooh.
So after all the sexual assault allegations came out and all the women stepped forward, there were actually songs of him detailing the encounters, kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of just like, oh, I'm having sex with this person, and you come out, and you find out that wasn't consensual. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And so that's why a lot of people can't listen to his music anymore, or won't listen to his music.
Was there a song where it was like, I'm a pee in her butt?
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. No. I was just saying, like, in instances like that, I can understand where somebody, they can't separate the person from the music, especially.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the whole like ideology behind canceling is not good. I think it's like you said earlier, shaming somebody is fine, but straight up being like, nah, we're not going to even support you whatsoever in your future endeavors, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Unless, again, it's very bad. But if it's something, if it was years ago and it was something homophobic, it's like that was okay at the time. So I don't think they should be completely fucked over for what they do in supporters. You know, at that point, if it was years ago, if it was only a few years ago and you're being homophobic, that's stupid as fuck. That's on you, like, you know. But I don't know. I don't like. I like the idea of shaming somebody for saying or doing something bad, but I don't like the idea of never supporting this person again because of something. Mainly when there's so many people that wouldn't support them anymore. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it should ever be taken as far as to just say this person is canceled forever.
Right.
That should never be the case. That's not helping anybody. That's not going to help that person be a better person. That does not make you a better person. If you really want to try to help somebody, tell them what they're doing is wrong and maybe how they can change that. Like,
and help themselves. And help me help you, really. Because then you're helping yourself, and then you're also helping your supporters be like, oh shit, he's not actually homophobic, you know? It's like, because again, just going back to it, Kevin Hart, man, like that, even if he is homophobic, he, like I said, he doesn't do any skits or whatever on it, you know? So, and he is a comedian, so those tweets could have been in a funny way, just giving him the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, there was a terrible sayings in there, but there's always two sides of the story, and this is what we see, and then there's the other side where this is what they meant, and this is how they were thinking when they tweeted it, when they said it, when they did it, when they posted it, you know?
Well, that's always the worst thing about saying anything online, is because there's no context when you're tweeting. Because they can't hear how you're saying it. It's just a statement. It's read as a statement. Unless you use I guess people use emojis now. That's how you know if they're joking or not. But if it's just like a joke like that, especially back then, people just read them as statements. They don't read them as jokes.
That's very true.
I think it can, obviously there are a lot of good things about the internet.
Yes.
But one thing I always noted the internet was the whole the Black Lives Matter movement. And this is for another podcast, but I'm going to say it on this one. Because without the internet, that would have never been possible.
Yes.
Any kind of Twitter hashtag or movements like that are started from the internet, because it is the one place that people and everyday people can
come together.
Yeah, they can come together, and then they can put information out that isn't filtered by anything.
Yes.
And it is mass distributed, so everybody can see it. And I guess that's like a really good part of it. That was like after all the canceling shit.
Yeah, I think the internet's a great place for anything like that. There's a lot of good. I would say there's a lot of good that encompasses the bad of the internet, in my opinion. But I mean, that's also maybe just the stuff that I want to look at more, because there's still bad shit. But
yeah, there's good and bad shit in every industry. So.
Oh yeah. You always got to look to the positive. That's a huge thing. Also, a lot of the subjects that we're going to talk about, at the end of the day, what the whole takeaway is just don't be a fucking asshole. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
For every subject that we'll talk about, you support yourself, and that's fine, but don't try to hurt people and don't push people down because they don't agree with you. That's the main point for all of this.
Yeah. I also want to say, while I do not agree with it, I support your decision to do it. I am a big supporter of free speech, and that people can say whatever they want. I can still think it's fucked up, but I mean, I support your fucking right to do so, you know? So I'm not saying you can't say this stuff. Just be mindful.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Mildly Uncomfortable. We will be back again with a even better topic to talk about. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, MildlyUPod, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you guys. See ya.
Goodbye.